Hey! So I don't know about you guys, but these past few months have been really good for me to get into a healthy fitness routine again. But I have to admit, I do miss the gym. I miss training with all the machinery because I think being in the gym exposes all the areas of your body where you're weak, but also helps you to train those exact areas. Personally, I love to train in short bursts of really high intensity exercises just to get it over with as quickly as possible. But I do remember the very first time that I took a CrossFit class, and let me tell you, I thought I was pretty fit, but this day was a proper reality check because I was drenched in sweat by the end of it. My legs were burning and wanted to give in, but all the while my coach was pushing me on and encouraging me to just push through the pain. I found the same thing to be true about life. When, everything is going our way and we don't have a care in the world, it's easy to think, we're fine, we've got it all together. And even the areas where we are spiritually weak can be hidden and we don't even realise it. But the second that the going gets tough and, real difficulties hit, suddenly all of our weaknesses are exposed, and that's when our pride and our temper, our anger, our insecurities, our impatience, all of this starts to rear its ugly head. Christ knew the difficulties that lay ahead of him when he started his public ministry, and yet he walks boldly towards the cross with confidence in the Father's plan, and he didn't let any of these difficulties get in the way. Have you ever noticed that in most Catholic churches there is usually a big crucifix as the centre point, the focal point, usually behind the altar or somewhere near there? And have you ever wondered why this cross, the weapon used to crucify our Lord, supposedly symbolising pain and death, takes such pride of place? I mean, why not an image of Christ's birth or of the resurrection? Well, in the Gospel of Matthew, Christ tells us exactly why. He says that if anyone wants to become his follower, they must renounce themselves and take up their cross and follow him. So the cross isn't just some torture weapon. Christ's death on the cross is the ultimate symbol of love, of Christ's perfect sacrifice, that the one who didn't deserve to die suffered unimaginably for us and gave his life, motivated solely by love, so that you and I would never have to know the separation from God's graces. And so Christ's arms were stretched wide and raised to heaven to welcome each and every one of us and restore the relationship between God and man, and to bridge that gap, that divide between God and man that was caused by sin. And if we want to cross that bridge to God, then we have to pass through the cross, which means we have to follow in our Lord's footsteps. Life won't always be easy, and this is something that we probably don't want to hear. Never-ending joy is solely reserved for heaven, and the road to heaven is lined with our own crosses, which means that we will experience suffering in life. And this can be kind of hard to swallow, but the good news is that Jesus promises us an eternal reward, which we only find through our cross. Believe it or not, that dreaded CrossFit class taught me a lot about God, and I've learned that the love of God looks a lot like the cross. Some of the biggest and hardest challenges in my life, the biggest crosses that I've had to carry, have definitely not been easy. And just like training at the gym, when you persevere and you push through that pain, you come out the other side transformed. You're much stronger and far more resilient. And those most challenging moments in my life have also been the most transforming, because they have really grown me as a person, and gave me a much deeper surrender and reliance on God, by revealing more of who he is as my loving dad in heaven who protects me. And he's also gave me a heart for his people, to reach out in compassion when I see other people suffering too. Now, I don't know what you guys have had to suffer personally, but I do know one thing. Even those most heart-wrenching moments, even in those moments, every pain has a purpose. I mean, just look at Christ. His scars, the wounds in his hands and feet, were used for his glory at the resurrection. And so Christ will also use our own scars and our own wounds for a greater glory too, even if we don't see it yet. Christ promised that we would have our own crosses to carry in this life, but how we react to these depends totally on us. Suffering has the power to refine us and make us stronger rather than crush us. So do we respond to these crosses, these difficult moments in our life, the way that Christ did? So next time that you are suffering, instead of asking yourself, why me? why not try instead asking, okay, Lord, imagine him beside you and ask him, Lord, what are you saying to me in this? And know that there is nothing that you can go through, no amount of pain or suffering that God himself has not already experienced, even to the point of losing a loved one, his only son. So know that I am praying for you all, and God bless.